Hi, welcome to Chris and Melanie TV. I'm Chris.
And I'm Melanie.
And I'm Eileen.
I love it! Way to go, Eileen!
I'm sorry.
And today we are your saucy health mavens.
Very saucy. And we are bringing you all things health and wellness by way of Health Hub Network. And today we have a very special guest with us, Eileen Love. Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me.
Eileen is a licensed massage therapist, and for 15 years she has specialized in trauma relief for physical and emotional trauma. And prior to that, she was an EMT in Seattle, Washington, and she served in the field as a reserve firefighter and in hospital ERs and on 911 calls.
Wow.
She's also a member of Health Hub Network.
All right, so today we're going to be talking about CranioSacral Therapy, which is one of the modalities that you specialize in. Is that correct?
That's right.
All right. And so can you explain to us and the audience exactly what is CranioSacral Therapy?
All right, so CranioSacral Therapy is a very gentle form of body work that is designed to release tension in the nervous system on a deep core level and allow the body to experience quietness and calmness.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever felt like your body was all revved up and your mind was racing and you wish you could just like hit a reboot button, but you can't, and people, maybe your spouse is saying, you need to relax, and you're like, yeah, I'd like to relax, but how does that work? And you want to do it, but you don't know how.
Yeah.
And so you feel stuck. People are stuck and they want to be able to get their body to line up with who they really are inside, but it's not always cooperating.
It's not. It's a lot of people don't understand not being able to turn something off. I know my husband, when I get to that point where I'm so stressed out, he can turn things off so much easier than me. Mm-hmm. And he just says, well, why don't you just turn the switch off, Melanie? And I'm like, I don't.
Switch is
It's
broken.
malfunctioning. It is
Exactly.
malfunctioning. No, it doesn't.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's one of the ways that craniosacral works, in that a lot of times the lower brainstem, which controls a lot of our body functions in the fight or flight response that most of us are familiar with, and in our culture in particular, we're very wired fight or flight wise.
Right.
We're just always revving, and women especially, we're trying to balance a career, you got kids, so many women now are also taking care of their elderly parents, and some are taking care of their grandkids on top of it. And then, that's high enough, and then they have other stresses that come upon their life. They maybe get to a minor accident, but, maybe on a scale of 1 to 10, if 10 is, I'm really stressed out, they might start their day on a 7 or an 8. They only have 3 points to go before they're, they're reacting.
Yes.
Well, how do we get that feeler down from a 7 or an 8 down to, say, a 2 or 3? Wouldn't that be nice if we can just get the body to kind of calm down and not find ourselves overreacting to everything?
So what could someone expect when they come to see you? What does this whole modality look like? What does it feel like?
Mm-hmm. People can just come in with comfortable clothes. And what they'll do is they'll lie on a table, a massage table, on their back. And what I'm looking for and what I'm listening for, I call it listening, but I'm using my hands, but I'm actually, feeling what we call the cerebral spinal fluid rhythm. A lot of people don't realize that we actually have a pulse or a rhythm in our cerebral spinal fluid. And depending on how long a person has had tension in their bodies, I can feel that rhythm through the spine, through the cranium, through the head, and through the sacrum, which is that triangular bone at the base of the spine. And what it's very gentle. It's 5 grams of pressure. It's it's like a nickel. So it's very, very gentle. So what I'm actually feeling for or listening to is, how is this body feeling? How revved up is this body? Sometimes it can feel like the body is holding its breath, and it's been like that for a long time. It's way up there. Other times it's kind of just erratic, almost like waves on a choppy lake. And there's just so much going on that the body is irregular. And so very gently what I do is I come, like if I'm working on the head and the person's facing this way, I put my hands underneath their head, and I'm very, very carefully working to listen to that rhythm. It's very, very quiet. A lot of people just fall asleep This type of therapy and the way we actually can release a lot of stress in our lives, we have to feel safe. It's very important for the body to feel safe and for the person to feel safe. And so that's one of the great things about CranioSacral Therapy. When we feel safe, we can let it out and go, okay, I just, and the body goes, thanks, I needed that.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a
Now, do
beautiful
people
thing.
see this major transformation in 1 treatment, 5 treatments? What's the typical
It really
time frame?
depends on a person and what level of trauma they're in. Like, for instance, if I'm seeing a person who's just come out of trauma, they just had an accident or they've just been through a severe emotional experience and they're way up there, you might look at it in terms of degrees. You know, on a scale of 1 to 10, they might come in, they could be on an 8, or even a 9. And they might come down to a 7 or an 8, and they could start to feel better, but usually within a 3 to 4 sessions, we are seeing significant changes in the body.
Well, thank you so much for explaining this craniosacral therapy to us, and hopefully give our viewers a tool that they can look to use to feel safe, to relieve some pain, to let go of those things that are holding them back. I think that's really amazing. If you liked this video, and we know that you did, please share it with all of your friends and your family, and subscribe to our channel, Chris and Melanie TV on YouTube, so that you never miss a minute of the fun with us. Okay? And then be sure to head on over to healthhubnetwork.com and sign up for our email newsletter so that you can have access to all of the health and wellness resources that we have online, like Eileen, and also find a lot of free events that we have going on, because there's something going on all the time and you don't want to miss it.
Eileen, thanks again for joining us on the show on Chris and
you.
Melanie TV, and we're done.
Thanks
so
for
much
watching.
for having me. Thank you.
All right,
All
we'll
right.
catch you next time.
Bye.
Bye.
This episode of Chris and Melanie TV was sponsored by Donna Terry at Elite Brain Integration, providing solutions for ADD, ADHD, dyslexia, and learning difficulties. Head on over to healthhubnetwork.com and sign up for our email newsletter.
Speaking of which, we're not being filmed right now, right? We're just.
Yes, we are.
No, we're not.
Yes, we are.
Don't use everything.
Oh, no, okay.
We only use the goofy stuff you say.